Alright everybody, we are back here with episode number 4 of the MLB Time Capsule. And today's is the 1907, that's right, 1907, we're already up to there, World Series. So 1907, great year for America. The flag flying high, the economy's great, and the Chicago Cubs are freaking back in the World Series again, my god. But they still haven't won one, ha! So, in this corner, representing the National League, coming into their second consecutive World Series, led by player-manager Frank Chanson, featuring Mordecai Brown, the 107-41 defending National League champions, the freaking Chicago Cubs. And in this corner, in the American League, featuring, led by manager Hugh Jennings, featuring All-Star Hall of Famer Ty Cobb, making his first World Series appearance from Detroit, the Detroit Tigers. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the boring World Series. Guys, come on, this is the fourth one. We've had two good ones, and if I do good ones, I have two bad ones, because this one was a snooze fest. The Cubs swept the Tigers to win their first World Series, and all of you Cub fans go, yeah, we won, yeah, take that, all you Yankee fans, we won. Cub fans, you know what's coming. So, just don't say anything, because you know what's coming, but this one I'll let you savor. And now, the Chicago Cubs have won a World Series. Are you happy now? This was, I would think, a boring World Series. I mean, all the games were blowouts, but this also featured a first. This was the first World Series in which a game ended in a tie. That's right, Game 1 ended after 12 innings, and the game was tied. So they didn't count it, so they had to play 5 games. The Chicago Cubs swept Detroit with great pitching. The Cubs that year won 107 games. You know, this was a team that won 116 games the year before and lost to the Chicago White Sox in the Super Bowl. So the Cubs were coming in wanting revenge. You know, they didn't want to lose again. It would have been a very bad, it would be very bad to lose 2 times. No team has lost 2 times yet, right? Exactly. So, and no team's gotten back there twice. Unless you count the Giants if you played 1904, which we didn't, so we won't count that. So, what happened this series? Well, it was the Tigers first, and, I don't blame them for losing that much. I mean, when this is your first World Series, especially considering that the Tigers were a young team, Ty Cobb was not in his prime yet. He had not reached his peak prime years. He won his first batting title this year. Well, like I said, the Cubs had just amazing pitching, and I'm sorry, but when you're striking out 18, 19, 20 guys, I'm sorry, Detroit, but you're not winning anything. The Cubs bored over the Tigers like bowling pins. It wasn't even funny. I don't really know what happened because I was not alive in the 1907, so there's no video footage of the 1907 World Series because I wasn't born yet, so you just have to take my word for it. Anybody here born in 1907? Anybody? Exactly. If you were, let me come talk to you, because then you can tell me about the 1907 World Series, which the Cubs won. Like I said to you folks before, these early World Series, there's no videos of them, so I don't know what happened. You just have to take my word for it. If I say the Cubs won, then the Cubs probably won. Like I said, Detroit didn't stand a chance. They were clearly inferior, and the Cubs wanted to win because that's what the Chicago Cubs did back then. They were the first ever baseball dynasty. Dynasty, you say? Oh yeah, there's one team that's going to define dynasty when they eventually reach the World Series, when we get there in the 20s. But we're not there yet. This is 1907. That team doesn't exist yet, so forget about that team. But there's another team that's going to be back on the rise again. So, to recap, the 4th World Series, a boring snooze fest of a World Series. The Chicago Cubs finally win their first World Series. So if you've been paying attention to this series, we have the Boston Red Sox with 1. We have the New York Giants with 1 of their own. We have the Chicago White Sox with the World Series. And then we have the Chicago Cubs with 1 World Series. The Detroit Tigers, they ain't winning one for a while. What do you think this is? You think the Tigers are going to fare any better later on? No, you're lying to yourself if you think that. So I wanted to say for this one, oh, and by the way, the venues that they played at were West Side grounds, and then they played in some park in Michigan. Again, not really relevant because none of these parks are around anymore. But anyway, like I said, Cubs win first World Series, yay for them. Detroit loses. You know, we didn't see that one coming. So, in the next episode of the MLB Time Capsule, chronicling through history, we're going to go to 1908. And it's another freaking Chicago Cubs World Series. How many times are going to be in this? And this is the third time. And Detroit, oh, come on, why is Detroit here again? Well, folks, you heard it. It's the rematch. First ever rematch in the World Series. World Series number 5, 1908. Chicago Cubs and Detroit Tigers for the second time. Be sure to subscribe to Rock Talk 21 for more MLB Time Capsule, where we chronicle the World Series from 1903 all the way up to present. We're slowly getting there up to 1908, so we're making stuff happen, but eventually we'll get there. But be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks, and see you guys next time when we explore 1908.